Yo guys, what's going on? It's Pineapple and welcome back to part 2 of the Python 0 to Hero course. In today's video we're going to be covering the different types of data types in Python. So in Python there are 4 main different types of data. There's integers, floats, strings, and then we have what's called a boolean. And so basically these 4 data types will be used in just about every single program you write. So let's get into which each of these are. So if we go into Sublime in Python, which we learned how to install and use in the last video, we can actually see that Python has keywords. So we have int, which is an integer. We have a float, and that's lowercase. We have strings, which is str. And then we also have booleans, which is bool, if I can type. Now as you can see, these are all keywords in Python. Now let's go into what each one of these are. So basically we have integers, which is what we're going to go with first. Integer is int. So any integer is a number, just a number, you know. We have 2, 1, blah blah blah. All these are integers, any integer. So basically it's anything without a decimal point in numbers. So we can say like x is equal to 1, and then we can use the print function to print what's called the type of x. So what are we doing here? So we're saying x is equal to 1. Well, we've just learned that 1 is an integer. Okay, so what we're telling Python to do is say, well, we want to print something. Okay, what do we want to print? We want to print the type. So what type of data is this? And we're just putting the variable, which is x. So if we save this and run it, we're going to get int, which is an integer. It's a number. Okay, so that's what an integer is. Let's go into what a float is. So float is float. Floats are any number with a decimal point. So 2.0, 2.1, 2. Blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. So once again we can do x equals 2.1, print type x. We're going to get float because this is a floating point number, floating decimal point number. So floats are just anything with a decimal in them. Now let's go into strings. Strings are text, is just text, any text. So that is a string. Now strings have to be surrounded by double quotes or single quotes, just like this. So anything that's in this color in Sublime is a string. So we can say x is equal to, and then we'll just put a string here, and we'll just put in here hello world. We're gonna get string. So what else can we store in a string? Well, we can also store numbers, letters, symbols, and such. Now, the only thing that's a little bit weird is the backslash. Backslash is a special character in Python. So basically, if you want to do a backslash, it's 2 of them. So now let's go into what a boolean is. So bool is B-O-O-L. Booleans are just true or false. Now, true or false values in Python always have to be capitalized. Anytime you write true or false inside of something in Python, make sure it's capitalized or else it won't be a keyword. So what type is that? So if we put x is equal to true, and we say print type x, not tuple, just like this, save it and run it, we're going to get a boolean type. Now, there's more to this than what I'm showing you, but this is just the extreme basics. So let's go into like strings. Let's use let's get a user input, and let's use strings in the print function, and let's learn about a formatted string real quick. So let's say name is equal to input, and then we'll just say, what is your name? So just like that. We'll just add a little decorator at the end. You don't need that, but that's just making the input look nicer. We'll also make one called age. We'll set that also to an input, and then we're gonna say inside the string, these are strings inside of input, what is your age? Just like that. Now, age is a number. We want this to be stored as an integer. We want name to be stored as a string. And basically Python's going to automatically store it as a string. So let's just declare that we want this as an int. Just like that. But we'll go more into that in just a moment. So what is this useful for? So let's write a little program real quick. We'll say print, and then we're going to use what's called an f string or a format string. Okay, so just put an F. Okay, see how it goes into a little blue character. Now basically what this is going to say is, okay, this string is formatted. So we can use these variables. Now there's two different types of ways we can do it, and I'll show you both ways. We can also just do print, and then I'll show you both ways, and both ways work the same. So instead of f string, I would say use f strings just because they're a little bit more efficient when you're actually coding. But let's just, for now, let's just use the f string, and I'll also show you how to do it in just a basic string. So we're gonna want to make a program that says hello to the user. So we'll say hello, and then we want to call them by name. Okay, so we're gonna use what's called a curly brackets, and here we're gonna want to put the variable. Well, the variable is name. Okay, so we're storing name in a string. Name is going to go right there. So when we say this, it's going to say print. It's going to look at what name is. Name is equal to the user input, and then let's say the name they entered was pineapple. It's going to say hello pineapple. Now we're going to want to say their age. So we'll say you are, and then we're going to want to tell them their direct age. So we'll use the curly brackets again. We'll type age inside of here, and then we're going to say years old. Now, this is not the only way we can do this. We can also do it like this. We can say hello, and then we can use a plus, just like this. We can say name, space plus, quotes, space, you are, plus, age, plus, quotes, years old. We'll add boop, boop, boop. Now, as you can see, how this might be a little bit more efficient. This is useful in more cases just than this, but as you can see, that is way quicker to type than this would be. So let's run our program and see what it does. So here's a little trick. I'm saving everything in the Python class folder. So if we go inside of here, and we actually go up to this little bar and click it, and we type in CMD, it'll actually open up a command prompt inside of this folder. Didn't mean to type slash, it's CMD. Just like that. See, and now we can run test.py. I didn't save it. So we can, by hitting the up arrow. Now we'll say, what is our name? We'll say pineapple, and we are 45. Hello pineapple, you are 45 years old. Hello pineapple. They printed out the exact same thing. And now we can also go down here, and we want to see what these data types are. So we'll just say print type name. Now this can be useful if you're just wondering. We'll say name, and then a lot of times it'll be quicker just to copy and paste this and then change that to age. Now, what's going to happen if we run this? Well, we're actually going to get an error when we run this, and we'll see why in just one moment. So if we save that, let's open back up our command prompt because I closed it, and we actually run our profile. We get an error. Can only concatenate string, not int to string. Well, what does that mean? Well, now instead of adding strings together, we're actually trying to add a string to an integer, which we can't do. So instead of using all that, if we just use a formatted string like that, and rerun our program, it'll work just as it did before. So as you can see, now we're actually storing it as an int. So let's actually start writing a program to, actually before we do that, we need to do booleans. So let's actually do a boolean. So we'll say age 18, right, is equal to something. What are we going to set this? We're going to actually set this equal to true. True is equal to true. It'll always be equal to true. So right here we'll use an if statement, which we'll learn more about later. We'll say if age 18 is equal to equals to true. What do we want to happen? We're actually just going to print a string that says you can vote. But what if, well, let's go down here. What if you're not 18? We're actually going to use else, and then we'll just say print you cannot vote. And then we'll say you cannot vote. So what's going to happen if we run this program? Well, we can vote because 18 is equal to true. But what if we set this to false? Like this. What's going to happen now? Age 18 is not true. It's actually equal to false, so we're actually going to print this. You cannot vote because you're not 18. So as you can see, this can be very useful. And we're actually going to get into a program on how to write this, like how to combine all these things together. So in the next tutorial, we're actually going to see combining things. We're actually going to combine things and write our first mini program. So I hope you guys all stay tuned for that and enjoy that. And don't forget to join the Discord if any questions. Oh, and I also had a question asked in the last episode. Somebody commented and asked if they updated Python, would they have to update their IDE or their text editor? And the basic answer is just no. You're not going to actually have to update it or change the language, because I use Sublime and it supports all these languages. Just make sure your actual language is updated. It's like going from Python 2 to 3. The syntax is going to be changed, but it's still Python. So just make sure that we're using Python 3 in this course. So thank you for the question. I forget who asked it, but yeah. Have a great day, and on the next one, like I said, we'll actually be writing our first program. Peace.